Champion, how you doing? Welcome. Sol here, and today's topic is really exciting. Is how to generate more power at any moment in time, and I'm really excited to discuss that today. Today we're going to discuss how to generate more power through us, within us, at any moment in time. And I'm sure it's something that, you know, obviously, you will be interested at, as I've seen some comments from everybody. So really, let's dive into it. And really, it's going to be something that some of you, have heard, but really, I hope, it's not going to just pay attention because I'm bringing a new level, really a distinction that really makes a difference and made a difference for me. And really, so how do we generate more power? The first step is really, and I'm going to dig deeper. That's what we're going to discuss is really be anchored into what really matters to me. So ask yourself, first question is what really matters to you, right? And I'm going to pause here really because that's really relevant information, because it's really us finding out what really matters to us, right? And I'm really asking that question, and it's very important because really what matters to you? Do you know in all area of your life? Do you know what really matters to you in your vocation, in your career? Do you know what matters really to you in your relationship, right? Do you know what really matters to you in your friendship? Right? In whatever, do you know what matters to you in your performance in this area? Right? So really, I really think it's important to boil that down and be crystal clear. And I really want to insist on this point because that's very relevant. Why? Because in all literature, and I'm going to try to hit it from different angles, so hopefully I make my point. One of a great leader that we lost years ago, Stephen Covey, who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talked about it. He said, keep the end in mind, right? So keep the end in mind, really. And, if you look at it, so in business or anything like that, or even when you do sport, right, as an athlete, right, you got to have that vision, right? And spiritually, right, it's written right in the Bible, people who have vision perish. People who have vision perish. So all those are hitting points where kind of important. And one area I want to also add in regard to that is, why is that important? And this is really something really that I really love to talk about. Even Napoleon Hill, right? Napoleon Hill, I'm sure if you haven't heard, but you probably know about him, but I highly suggest that book, right? The book that created the most millionaire is Think and Grow Rich. Anyhow, Napoleon Hill studied the most successful people for over 25 years in the entire world, right, in the United States. And the number one point, I don't know if you remember reading a book, but really, if you remember, it's what? Number one point is definiteness of purpose, right? So that's really clear. And that's what he really found out within all these steps, that all these successful people, right, have all in common. The first step that they already had was definiteness of purpose, right? So again, I really hope, I'm just want to make that point clear, and that's really my objective here. So that's the first step. And, I'm going to dig into the second step, but really in that step, it's very important. And why I'm going to give you another example or another angle why it's important to have that clarity, right? Why is that? And if I'm sure whenever you bought a new shirt or you got a new car or anything like that, let me ask you this. Have you noticed that you've seen all of a sudden that new car everywhere, right? Let's say you buy whatever, a BMW or a Honda or whatever it is, or, a truck, right? When you get that new truck, for some reason, you've seen that truck everywhere, right? And it's not that all of a sudden trucks or, that new thing that you got just, got overflooded. But why is that? It's something that now with a brain in neuroscience, we know. It's called the reticular activating system. Again, it's part of our brain. It's called the reticular activating system, or RAS, RAS. What is that? It's part of our brain that kind of notice things that we want to pay attention, that are very important to us, right? And so really it's important. That's one of the reasons, even biologically, right, it's been proven why it's important for us to have a crystal mental clear picture of us formulating what we want. And again, don't want to belittle the point, but really, I hope I'm making that point clear. And that's really ask yourself, to generate more power, are you really clear in what you want, right? So again, I hope I'm making the point clear. You're like, hey, so this is too much, but why is that? But really, I wanted to give all these angles, right, so that that point is clear, right? And I'm going to talk about why it's a secret, and there's a secret really at the end. If you hold on, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to share what makes a difference, right? And just hold on to that. But now you're asking, okay, so I got it. So now the question is, so how do I do that, right? And this is really another distinction that's very important that that really a lot of people really struggle with, and I did struggle myself, and I'm going to explain why. Because life for us as human in our experience is to perform a function. Makes sense? And as we perform a function, really in that, our role to intelligently formulate what we want. Again, our role is to intelligently formulate what we want, right? So in other words, it's to get that crystal clear mental picture of what we want. Why is that important? Again, because of a law of specificity, right? So the more specific we are, the more powerful it is, right? And I talk about the reticular activating system, but if you think about it, it's like really the airplane, right? If you think about airplane, really what the airplane knows is knowing the end, right? The airplane knows, like a GPS, basically, right? You know where you are, and basically, when you know where you're going, right? The GPS it's like airplane, really. It's really by, calculating, right? By default, readjusting that we get to our destination. So that's really why it's important. So our role is to intelligently formulate what really we want, right? So one of the key way to do that is really, like I said earlier, is just pause, ask yourself, what matters to me, right? And and it's not why it's important, because it can be flashy things that we heard from people. So really stay connected to that, right? And I'm going to pause here. It's important for us to stay connected to that. Why is that? Because sometimes we think that we have some desires, but that are not ours, right? So really the key I'm going to share with you how to test it if it's really something that we really want, right? So if it's really something that you want that comes from your core desire, you know what will happen? You will right away feel like expanded. You will feel expansion, right? Because why is that? Because life in us, right, the breath, is always looking for a seeker and a fuller expansion, right? Life is expansive in itself. It's expand. So if you think about it, any decision or any thought that we have is either contractive or expansive. Are we expanding, right? So again, any thought we have really is always expanding, right? Or we just basically, we kind of just contracting, or we just expanding, right? So that's really important. So ask yourself if those emotions or those thoughts really what you want is really expanding, right? So again, that's really the homework, really that I want to share with you. So really it's what matters to me, right? And why is that? Because when you know that, when you're clear with that, when that mental clear picture, the how is just a gravy, right? Because it's a process, it's a becoming, right? And that's why, in all literatures, in all stages, I've always talked about how the becoming the journey is really what matters. But that's really the caveat. That's a catch, because why the journey is that, is really what, because the end is fixed, right? Because when you know the end, right, the how really become relevant. But a lot of us, we plan our vacation, right? We plan our holiday vacation. A lot of people spend more time planning the holiday vacation than planning their year, planning their week, planning their day, planning their month, planning their life. It's sad, but really, so it's really what I want to share today. So really, right? So let's get mental clear picture on what really matters to us, right? So keep the end in mind, have a definiteness of purpose. And the way we do that is to just pause and ask ourselves, is what matters to us, right? So by asking ourselves what matters to us, this is the key, another key, is will me getting what I want, will it set order, right? Contribution, right? If you think about it, part of us growing is us contributing, right? It's really ingrained in us, right? And us becoming more is in that service, right? The mother, giving birth and supporting her children, right? The seed giving, life to a tree that gives more, more fruits, or more shade. So really, serving is really what we after at the end, right? So we want to grow, yes, we want to have, but really at the end, it's really to serve. So that's really, so those are really the way you ask yourself intelligently to find out is what really you're looking for is really makes sense. So does that make sense? So really the secret, here's the secret that I want to come about. Here's the secret. You ready? It's not a one-time activity. Again, I'm repeating it. It's not a one-time activity. Getting that clarity is a verb. It's a daily verb. And that's what makes a difference between the greatest of all time and the average performer, right? And I'm going to repeat that again. That's really what makes it the secret. Getting that clarity is a verb, right? And so it's constant. So the greatest of all time, they have that clarity. And so what I'm sharing here is, so it's a daily work, like brushing your teeth, right? Because sometimes, things change. So it's really what makes it powerful, right? So again, so just to sum up a little bit what we talked about, and I really want to bring it home. Knowing the end gives us more power to move forward, right? Knowing the end, right, both here and here, give us a power to move forward, right? So it's really what I want to share here, really. So why is that relevant? Because we proven, and I share with you, from many angles, spiritual, right, without vision people perish, or even through science, right, biology, right, where the reticular activating system, give us more power in a moment. So why do we get more power in a moment? Because we know the end, and then so the rest is just us figuring out the how. But yet, when the end is unclear, us trying to figure out the how and end, we just fuzzy and things just scramble. Am I making sense? So really, we get more power in the present when we clear about the end, right? And really, the next week, what I want to share is really how that to generate that more power. But really, in a way, it's the key. The hint is getting clear of that purpose, right? Getting clear of that purpose, right? And this is a secret. Here's a secret that I'm gonna develop more on next week. Guess what it is because again, science has proven how do we get emotion? How do we get emotion? Mental pictures, right? So pictures create emotion in us, right? So if you think about it, the great orator, the great speakers, the great whatever people that move us, they describe things in pictures, right? So that's really what we're going to develop next week. And stay tuned. I hope this served you. And please share it, right? So really, don't forget, dare to share your light, my friend.